Okay, so you'll do all this New Age stuff, but you won't go to a chiropractor?
I'm not gonna let some ex-frat boy at the University of Miami crack my bones.
They have Anastasia for Vladimir Melgar. You can't even get this online anymore. Really? This is one of the most incredible things. An original Course in Miracles with the notes by Helen Schucker.
This is gonna be the best day ever. This is gonna be the best day ever. Wake up.
Hey guys, Cardinellis here with WardRadio, and a lot of people ask me about Kwaku and his kind of hippie spirituality, kind of new agey thing, and they're curious about it. So we decided we'd make a video and take a little trip here to the closest new age store we could find, called The Psychic Eye, down in Los Angeles. Kwaku's been eyeing this for a while every time he comes and visits, so we decided to actually take a trip. Here it goes.
So in all the New Age episodes, this mom keeps commenting angrily everything I say. Even like one where it was weird.
There was a lot of comments.
I don't ever respond to the comments because there's always like at least 15 desnats who are just obsessed with wanting to slander me. So I never actually engage with, which is unfortunate, but I just can't engage with the audience because those people ruin it. But I typed something and I was trying to make an edit, but YouTube kept saying error, like, you know, like has a bunch of numbers error.
Yeah.
So I deleted it and just recommented it with the edit. And they were like, deleting your comment, huh? You coward. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Honestly, look, I know, and look, motherhood is great, but I'm sorry, sometimes these neighborhood moms are just the meanest people because, like, out of 7 years of staying home and, like, just taking care of the kids, sometimes the meanest comments I see are from bored moms. Bored neighborhood moms make up 75% of the vitriol on the internet.
There was a lot of negative comments on some of the New Age stuff, and I don't get it, man. It's like, okay, so here's the deal.
Yeah, well, it's the Mormon caste system. That's what it is.
Well, I don't know if it's the Mormon caste system as much as...
they think people who are involved in what's considered New Age, which, by the way, there is no definition of New Age. It's anything esoteric, which is anything but new, okay? And if you engage in it or even talk about it, they think you're just some other, and you should, like, these people would never sit down with someone who believes in crystals to talk about the beauty of Joseph Smith and seer stones. The people that would get seer stones quicker and faster and better than the evangelicals they want us to debate.
Yeah, you know, I agree with that. Now, I don't think the Mormon caste system applies to this as much as...
It's a religious caste system. North American Christian caste system.
I think it's tribalism more than that, because, and this is the reason I was so disappointed in all of those comments that I saw, was because we don't do this in any other situation that applies. If we were to open up some new country in Micronesia or Indonesia or north of Papua New Guinea or wherever, and discover a new tribe of 250,000 people and introduce them to the Book of Mormon and say, oh my gosh, we need to translate the Book of Mormon into this new language X, we'll call it, okay? We would move mountains, hire linguists to study that language. We'd hire anthropologists to go study the people. We would send all of BYU's sociology department to open an extension center there and figure out what their colloquialisms are so that we could make and translate a new version of the Book of Mormon just for them, because they're children of God, and as the Doctrine and Covenants says, the truth and the scriptures must be taught to every man in his own language, right? Well, in a wildly secularized America, in America where religious nuns, self-reported no religion people, are now increasingly the majority in most of these places, the spiritual people, the people whose soul still begs for some kind of spirituality, they're all in New Age, man. You know, they're not hanging out in the back corner of the Catholic cathedral. They're not hanging out over with your Hare Krishna buddies in Spanish Fork. There's so many of them end up in this like New Age, this loose conglomerate of ideas, and they just speak a different language. And you're right. some of it might be a little bit of crystals, some of it might be a little bit of tarot cards here, some of it might be a little bit of, meditation, some of it might be this weird, I shouldn't say weird, but a fusion of Buddhist meditation and, Hindu massage and then Taoist quietness, right? But they're children of God too, and they have a language. And all I see you really doing is translating into the language of New Age the gospel as you found it, because you kind of went through the New Age stuff first, right?
No.
Well, it was part of your whole journey, and you kind of notice how a lot of what the gospel says is a lot of what New Age people believe, but just in a different language. So let's translate it for them, right?
Well, I mean, so my family has a big background in esotericism, but I wasn't really raised that much with it. There are hints and stuff, but not really. I was more mainstream Christian, and then,
Well, I guess I know you're mainstream Christian, but I think what they're saying is you see the gospel in a lot of this New Age stuff.
Oh yeah. That I see. Well, it's there. It's like, when Joseph Smith was talking to the Delaware tribe, and they said, we have spoken with the Great Spirit, and this Great Spirit has told us that you are the man that will help lead us to freedom. And he said, the Great Spirit has told you the truth. He didn't say, actually, the Great Spirit is actually fake counterfeit doctrine, and really, you need to be praying to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, not your weird pagan.
Yes.
He didn't say that. Paul even does the same thing when talking to the pagans. He was like, I'm going to tell you about this mysterious God that you pray to. I'm going to tell you about him. He didn't say, yeah, your mysterious God is evil and fake, and you needed to renounce that and believe exactly how I believe. But the mindset some of these people, let's read these comments.
Okay.
A Course in Miracles teaches counterfeit doctrine. This is extremely disappointing. So much for being a faithful show that denounces deception. See, comments like this are totally manipulative in my mind. Because what they're saying is, this thing is bad, and because I've declared this thing bad, you're no longer the show you claim to be, and you haven't met your goals because of my interpretation of this thing, and you should be ashamed. This is how manipulative people talk. So you can let that go in one ear out the other.
Well, the thing is, I notice sometimes that it's not just those few comments that you see, but sometimes I notice, and I feel very uncomfortable with evangelicals that kind of do this. Like, I stumble across all kinds of videos that say, like, why Muhammad was a false prophet. You know what I'm saying?
Meanwhile, you're sitting there with your fake divinity degree, eating Cheetos on your laptop, and Muhammad was out there creating an empire before the age of 40. It's like, you will never be half the man Muhammad was.
Okay, yes. I mean, there's that as well. But for me, what it is before you can worship in the correct way, the true and living God, you first have to understand there's something outside of yourself. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that is a step above, like, what? Like atheism? Kind of what Jacob Hansen calls the class A, B, and C arguments, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I feel so uncomfortable with so many of these, like, evangelical and Christian takedowns of Muhammad or takedowns of Buddhism or whatever, and I don't feel like calling him a false god, is because, let's face it, they're referencing the same God just by a different name, and you have to start worshiping that God by a different name.
It's like, if you don't think God has an expansive enough influence over his children where he know, like, he's listening to the prayers of people of different religions, that's what annoys me. And by the way, if you really want to be just on that subject of Islam, what did Jesus call God when he was praying?
Father.
Oh yeah, I mean, when he's not being personal. It was when he was giving a sermon, when he would say the word God, what did he say? Because God is Germanic. No one in the Bible used the word God.
Oh, I don't know. What did he say?
Allah.
Oh, okay.
That's Aramaic for God.
Oh, okay.
It's just like Allah.
Oh,
it's one
interesting.
Letter change. Ella, Allah. He was saying Allah, Allah, and now Muslims say Allah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so it's like, wait a minute. God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, named Allah, in the Middle East. Jesus was if you were to just get a time machine and record that and say, what religion do you think this sounds like? You would go, oh, that's Islam. No, actually, that was Jesus. Sorry, Yeshua.
Yeah.
Actually, Yeshua. Or,
Wow.
So it's just interesting how this American modern lens of anybody who's different than me is bad. And by the way, the people, some of these comments were like, oh no, all New Age is bad. This is deception. You're falling towards evil and demons and everything. First, these people don't even know what I believe in regard to New Age.
You have to believe in something outside of yourself and bigger than yourself before you can start. It's like a pyramid. There has to be a foundation, okay? So first you have to believe that you are not God, that there is some kind of God outside of you before you can start arguing about secondary and tertiary arguments about the hypostatic union, what the nature of God is, and what his exact specifics and guidelines are. So not only do I feel uncomfortable because I think that, they don't know you and it's coming from a place of ignorance, like we should be celebrating New Ageism as something that drags people out of atheism so they're that much closer to God so that we can have good relationships with them, teach them, develop friendship, bond, community, so on and so forth.
Well, the other thing is those people are so closest. Those are the people that, in our church, we often have a problem with people who are religious but not spiritual. Imagine people who are naturally spiritual in just the most beautiful way, getting a form of doctrine.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at what the damage CES letter did. I said this to Brad. Imagine if we replaced 50% of the Protestants we converted in the past 20 years with people who were involved in esoteric New
crystal
Ages.
hippies.
Yeah. So much of the Book of Mormon translation, ex-Mormon arguments would be in one ear out the other. Did you know he used this magic rock? Oh, cool. Yeah, me too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh, dang it. You know, like, it's literally like, we're talking about Joseph Smith practiced Scottish Rite folk magic before he became prophet. God used him because he had a mindset where he was open.
Yeah.
And you take some of these people that condemn anything that's different and you say, all right, I'm literally going to take your mindset. I'm going to place you in 1830 and you're going to live in the town of Joseph Smith. Would you have believed him? No. With your mindset, you would have gone along with all the other Protestants around you. And so it's just like that mindset, it freaks me out because there is an expansiveness to humanity. There's an expansiveness to the human story from Adam to now. And God has worked through Zoroastrians, through Buddhists, through Catholics, through Jews, through Muslims, through Hare Krishnas, through everyone to bring them home.
Just not the woke schools. That's the only religion that is defunct.
Nope, even the wokes. He's worked through everyone. But these people are saying, no, actually, these people he's not working through. It's all demons. I really am weirded out by people who think that way. It's just dark. That's not the God we know.
Well, it to me, it was very, very odd because I look at these people and here's a good analogy. This is the last thing I'll say in regards to this is the Melchizedek priesthood is superior to the Aaronic priesthood. True or not true?
Right, yeah.
And what do we call the Aaronic priesthood? The preparatory priesthood, right? Well, isn't New Ageism like kind of a preparatory faith for the ultimate true faith? And no, I'm not saying that, it's the codified power to act in the name of God and that it has, the same authority as the Aaronic priesthood and so on and so forth. But can't New Ageism, for a lot of people who had no faith, now adopt some faith, be a preparatory religion for the ultimate truth that we believe we have? So shouldn't it be celebrated and not condemned? That's why I thought it was so weird, because you have to believe you have to believe in something outside of yourself before you can believe in the one true God. And so if we get somebody to believe in something outside of themselves, I don't care if it's crystals or if it's teddy bears, that's good.
Well, here's the other thing. There's a lot of comments that were saying, well, before I had my New Age phase and it was a terrible, terrible time. And how many times I've been told by Protestants the same thing?
Really?
When I was Mormon, I was so lost. But now that I've joined Valley Village West Baptist Church, I actually know God. It's the same thing. It's that like that slightly dehumanizing, patronizing testimony, which actually isn't coming from spiritual authenticity. It's coming from a way to speak down on someone and make them question
Well,
who they
also,
are and what they are.
I guess we kind of need a functional definition of New Ageism, because I'd also hate to
That's the
think,
problem. There is no thing.
because it sounds like they were doing like Satanism. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not
Which
here
is like,
preaching Aleister Crowley, sacrificing frogs in the winter solstice so, the Venus Columba can resurrect in my kitchen. I'm not doing that. But I'm more so thinking, well, okay, here's kind of how I view it. And this is also why I have a lot of respect for the idea of multiple mortal probations and reincarnation.
really?
I have so much respect for
You
it.
gonna get me in trouble again, dude?
If these people are mad at that, okay, Val comments. MMP, you're Lori Vallow, you're Chad Daybell, you believe in multiple lives. You know who actually believed in that before Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow?
I don't know.
Everyone in the eastern half of the world.
Oh, yes, you're
What
right.
about
It's,
all the Hindus and all the Buddhists and almost all the pagans, all the folk European religions? Arguably, the Gnostics, many early Christians, some of the church fathers believed in it. So it's like, really, you think this is a Chad Daybell idea? You think one weird guy in Idaho invented this idea of living again? Like, no, you're approaching this from a small-minded suburban.
also, how do you define
culture.
resurrection other than just living again?
No. Resurrection specifically means you'll never die again. That's what people are saying in the
I see what you're
comments.
saying.
It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. It doesn't mean that.
Really?
You get to the root. In fact, that's where the ancient debate came from. The root of the word resurrection in Hebrew is one of the arguments for reincarnation among certain sects of Judaism.
Oh, okay.
And so when I said Christ isn't the first person resurrected, people were like, no, he was, because he never died again. Well, resurrection in the sense that you came back from the dead, because the definition was, they're going with is appointed for every man to die once and then judgment. Well, that technically isn't true, because it's not true for Lazarus. It's not true for a number of people throughout the Bible who were resurrected. They won't die once, they'll die twice.
Oh, okay.
So, no, it's not appointed for every man to die once. So you dive into that. What does that mean? It's appointed for every man to die once and then judgment. Well, certain people in certain Mormon denominations do believe in multiple mortal probation, say that that's actually die once, judgment meaning spirit world, you come back. You die once, judgment, spirit world, you come. That's how they actually view it. Like, you will legitimately, like, every man.
So is all of my defending you is not going crazy with all this New Age stuff? Did you just undo the first 5 minutes of me defending you in this podcast?
No, it's okay. Well, here's what I'm saying. I'm explaining those ideas because in the same way a great way you can value science is if you destroyed all the science textbooks right now, digital and physical. In 2,000 years, textbooks with those same formulas will come out again, because it's the natural process of the earth.
Well, maybe in math, but now we call science.
No, you know what I mean. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
I think what
science,
you're trying to say is the hard sciences that are verified naturalistic phenomena. Because let me tell you, like wokeism wouldn't come back.
No, you're turning to boomer carded. You're turning into boomer carded.
Queer theory would not come back.
Liberals are not.
Feminism would not come back.
Cardin, sometimes I think you wake up in the middle of the night, you just go, oh, the wokes.
Are they in this room? Are they with me now?
No. But we're saying science. That will come back because it's a part of the natural process of the earth.
Yeah, okay.
When in regard to spirituality, that's also something to consider. If you destroyed every Bible, every Bhagavad Gita, every Book of Mormon, every transcript of every religion, digital and physical, got rid of it, we may not get Moses, the story of Exodus, to come back, because it's a recorded historical event. And I'm saying bar any angels coming down to talk to you.
Okay.
I'm saying your complete spiritual connection and philosophy to come up with a form of spirituality, okay? You may not get the story of Nephi. You may not get the story of Moses. You will get a God.
The golden rule.
Yes, you will get God. You will get morality. You will get heavenly beings.
Mm-hmm.
And you will get reincarnation. Those are the authentic, bare-bones spirituality that every culture and group connected and interconnected has naturally come to those conclusions.
Okay.
Which means there's something important to be studied there. And this, suburban goggles and blinders, which say, actually, no, if it's not exactly how it was taught in the Kaysville fifth stake, it's bad and evil. That's just a small-minded way to view the world. We are four-dimensional beings. Physicists say there's up to 12 dimensions, and a constantly expanding universe, multiple galaxies. We have no clue everything God has in store, and to pretend like we have it all figured out and there's no need to research any more of these other spiritual philosophies, you're gerrymandering your soul, and you're self-manipulating to be a robot because you're actually afraid of what could be out there. You're afraid of new information God could give you because you're so concerned with fitting in, you never want to stand out. And that's hell. Like, that is hell. You want to talk about the opposite of progression being damnation? You're stopped. That's what you're doing. You're damning yourself. That's why Joseph Smith said, I've never heard of a man being damned for believing too much, just believing too little.
Yeah, dude.
It's literally why he said it,
Either that or else he was giving us like the ultimate rubber claws.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have great respect for those, for we talked about ascended masters on the show before. I have great respect for that because that is a spiritual concept that always comes back no matter what. It's a natural spiritual conclusion. Reincarnation is a natural spiritual conclusion. I think it's important to study those because what if there's a mass cataclysm, okay? Like they say there was with Atlantis. Everything is destroyed, only a few remainers. Everything is rubble. Mm-hmm. In 5,000 years, those concepts I named will be back.
Okay. So, you know how sometimes on this show we do funny things just to annoy the anti-Mormon ex-Mormons, to annoy the woke scolds,
yes,
to annoy the feminists, or to annoy the evangelical anti-Mormons and things like that, like read from the Pirate Bible and stuff like that. What are we going to do to annoy the anti-New Agers? What's like the most esoteric New Age thing that we could do in Los Angeles, like right now?
Okay, so we're near Ventura. There's this place I really like. It's a total New Age shop. I think we should go and film in there. It's got some cool stuff. It's going to make that one mom who hates me very angry.
Oh, I don't think she hates you. Stop.
Oh my gosh. That woman.
Well, what are we going to do? Are we going to
That
go
woman would yell at Girl Scouts, that woman. She would kick the cookies out of her hands and be like, you're going to burn in hell.
No. So what's like the most New Age thing we can do? Go get our palms read, go do tarot. I ain't doing a Ouija board with you. I don't want to.
No, Ouija board is not. No. Again, it was saying New Age. There is no New Age doctrines. The problem is they were saying New Ageism is XYZ. That's like saying Westernism is XYZ. Well, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Fair.
It doesn't make
fair.
sense. You can't. It doesn't make any sense.
So okay, so you want to hit this. So we're going to go to this bookshop of yours. What's it called? Like NewAge Controversy Inc.
No, it's called Psychic Eye.
Psychic Eye. All right, cool.
These houses are nice. I like these houses.
Yeah, dude. We're in Sherman Oaks, bro.
That's how you know it's going to be cool when it's got one of those like Psychic Eye.
So anyway, what are we going to do in the Psychic Eye, bro? You say you've been there before, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's a beautiful church. Wow, look at that Catholic church. It's beautiful. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if my knowledge of esotericism is good enough where I can just randomly off the cuff start introducing some of these books to the audience.
Okay, cool. So what do I got to do to fit in? Like, am I dressed appropriately?
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah. Okay. By the way, if you look at they're getting so mad at A Course in Miracles. I'm like, what's the difference between this and the Book of Satan or something like that? And you're like, first, A Course in Miracles is one of the most difficult books to understand. And anyone pretending as if they figured it out and are now condemning it, they haven't. And if you went to some YouTube channel by like a Christian to condemn, to like find A Course in Miracles debunked, odds are that exact same guy has made a Book of Mormon debunked type of thing. So, I don't like when people in our church act like the people that also hate our church.
Like Trent Horn says that believers shouldn't argue like atheists.
Yeah.
Mormons shouldn't argue like Protestants.
Yeah.
Well, and we should clarify, Protestants who argue against Mormons. Mormons shouldn't argue like Protestants.
In a disrespectful way.
In a disrespectful way. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So it's so bizarre. So yeah, they're mad, but here's the other thing. Like, what makes a good show is having different ideas. I think sometimes some people in the comments actually just want like a bubble show. Like, they get mad when anyone expresses an idea that creates a dialogue or debate, but that's what makes a good show. Like, why would you want to listen to a podcast that's just
The same thing over and over again.
yeah, with no pushback? That just sounds like you're frail,
Yeah.
Like, fragility isn't really, like, Moses was not fragile.
Unless it's chiropractic ASMR. I'm telling you, dude, I can watch that stuff for
Some
hours.
of those chiropractors creep me out.
Some of it is kind of weird.
It's like, you're
But-
like, I don't think you're supposed to be bending that way, and I feel
Yeah.
like you're like,
Oh, but dude, what do you think about chiropractors, bro? Is that new
I've
age?
never been to one.
You never have? Bro, I'll
Not doing
take
it.
you.
Not doing it.
What? Why not?
Not doing it.
Wait, why not?
Not doing it.
Okay, so you'll do all this new age stuff, but you won't go to a chiropractor?
I'm not gonna let some ex frat boy at a University of Miami crack my bones in a way that might alter me forever.
So by this time, we actually made it to the store, the Psychic Eye, and predictably it smelled quite heavily of incense. But there was actually some cool stuff inside.
You were insane. Really? Wait, why is that one big? The restored, you can just Google the restored New Testament. They have Anastasia from Vladimir Melgar. You can't even get this online anymore. Really? This is one of the most incredible things. An original Course in Miracles with the notes by Helen Schuckman. Oh, okay. Holy crap, dude.
Thank you so much.
I'm like legitimately.
Nancy. Nancy Kaufman. Scorpio or because Scorpio?
Now, besides selling cool out-of-print New Age books, they also offer not a seance, I don't think that would be the correct term, but a reading, if you will. And did we take the bait? Absolutely.
This is gonna be the best day ever. This is gonna be the best day ever. Wake up.